Roll call.
Chairperson Major,
Here.
Commissioner Kasiba,
Here.
Commissioner Albrecht,
Here.
Commissioner Potter,
Here.
Commissioner Bendit.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Approval of the previous meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Oh, I forgot about the citizen participation. Citizen participation, back step, sorry. Okay, we have two people that have signed up. We have a Mr. Gus Guerrera, 5411 Happiness. He's talking about 5407. Okay, Mr. Guerrera, you want to come up, please?
Yes, excuse me.
Oh.
Is he going to speak on a particular item?
I don't know. What are you going to talk about, Mr.
It
Guerrera?
will be about Mr. Lawrence and his residence.
So if he speaks here now, he only gets 5 minutes.
Right.
But if you let him speak during the item, he can speak later.
How much time do you think you're going to need, Mr. Guerrera?
I don't need any longer than 5.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank the Kirby Police Department along with Converse Shirts for Friday's actions on removing the, how many cats? 40 cats from the residence. The cleaning process has begun, and I'm thankful for that. I have been in contact with my neighbor who is a Mexican nationalist. He's got a second home in Mexico, and they had to leave due to the condition of the home and the odor because they couldn't live in the house. His wife has seen a doctor in Mexico. They live in Sabina, Mexico, 80 miles into Mexico at the Falcon Crossing at Nuevo Leon.
Yeah.
And he is presently staying there right now while his wife recuperates. She had severe nosebleeds, and he had mentioned it to me that the doctors there asked if she was around any cats, and their bedroom window is 6 feet from the privacy fence they have. So
Okay.
anyway, that being said, I'm glad the process is taking place now. Grace has started cleaning, which I'm happy to see, and let's just hope this doesn't turn into a reoccurring situation.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. The other one is Carolyn Guerrera. Do you want to speak, ma'am?
Yeah. You want me to do it now or wait?
Oh, that's up to you. You want to wait? We can wait. You can do it when we're talking about it, okay?
Okay.
Then we'll move on to approval of previous meeting minutes. We had a motion to move it, seconded, roll call.
Who made the motion?
And who seconded it?
22.
Everybody's hand goes up.
Commissioner Albrecht,
Aye.
Commissioner Potter,
Aye.
Commissioner Bendit,
Aye.
Commissioner Kasiba,
Aye.
Chairperson Major.
Aye. Okay, now we move on to agenda item subsection A, public hearing and discussion. We're going to talk, the first one is about the public hearing to determine whether David Lawrence, the owner of property located at 5407 Happiness, Kirby, Bear County, Texas, CB 401-8A, Block 12, Lot 35, is in compliance with the city's adopted code of ordinances 731 limiting number of domestic animals, A, ordinance 731 care and cruelty to animals, L, ordinance 731 rabies vaccinations, A, ordinance 731 dog and cat license required, J, ordinance 731 mandatory spray and neuter, A. Okay. So we're open for discussion, ma'am, now, if you would like to come up and say what you would like to say. before we carry on.
I live at 5411 Happiness with my husband,
What is your name again?
Carolyn Guerra.
Carolyn Guerra.
It's an easier way to say it. So, but we've been friends with him and when his mom was alive. And we tried and tried and tried to get him to clean up that house. To go in the back alley, I saw one of his cats. I watched it go back and it went into a yard on Autumn Lane. I can't take this. I can't live like this. No one should ever have to live like this. We paid our house off. We've done everything we were supposed to do. And now we're feuding with him. When his mom was passing, all my help came from him. He called on me. And I don't want him to suffer any more than he has or he thinks he has. I'm not going to live with a house that smells like that. I'm just out of the house. And I saw him crates out of the house into the back of his truck when all this process while he was hiding everything, which I know all that because his mother and I were close. So all I want to ask you guys is, I want the best outcome for everybody. I don't want anyone hurt more than they already are. But he can't expect two families to live like that. And I can't be outside because I get nauseous and then it's a snowball effect on me. But I hope and I pray that he'll abide by this. But from what I'm seeing now, I don't think it's going to happen. That's all I wanted y'all to hear.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much for your participation. Okay, is there any further questions or discussions? Megan, you want to say something?
I'm gonna let Mr. Lawrence speak first. Do you want to speak over, do you have any concerns or anything about what happened?
I was told that I would be surrendering, or they would be removed from my house on the 22nd of this month by your order
Order of action.
of action.
Yes, sir.
But they did not come until the 24th. I was also told that there would be a veterinarian on hand at my residence as each individual cat was being removed from my house and inspected and checked. When they came, there was no veterinarian there at my residence. I was later told that the veterinarian supposedly was at the animal shelter and that would be examined at the shelter. After they collected the cats, I'm not sure how many because I was not told, that they were supposed to tell me at the time that they removed them, how many cats were being taken out of my house. I have not heard from a vet that the disposition of the cats and what condition they were in. The other day, right after that, I found that there were two females still inside my residence. I put them in a pet carrier and was going to take them over to the animal control shelter, but there was nobody there and nobody would answer the door. So upon finding out that, I went to the police station here at Kirby and asked the secretary at the window how I could get in touch with Mike. Well, she went to the back and all of a sudden Officer Thompson and Mike came out to greet me in the lobby. And I told them about the two cats that they had missed and that I had them in a pet carrier to surrender. As far as I know, there was nobody there at the animal shelter to check the animals because I saw no vehicles, no lights or anything in the building when I tried to take the cats to the animal shelter. So they didn't tell me how many cats there were. They didn't show me any proof of the animal's health conditions or whatever. Also, when I surrendered the 10 cats on October the 14th, it states in the affidavit that Mike stated that the 10 cats that he had that I surrendered at that time, he had them for 5 days in the animal shelter and then noticed that they were sick and then took them to the vet. At the time I gave the cats to him, they weren't healthy. They were not malnourished as the affidavit says. But 5 days later, they all have these sicknesses. Their coats they're saying their coats were full of feces and they had upper respiratory viral infection and all these other abnormal or conditions. But when I gave them the cats, they were healthy and they were not malnourished. They were healthy as far as I was concerned. If Mike, who supposedly says he's a vet tech for 7 years, would supposedly recognize a sick cat at the time that I handed it to him from my residence. I personally took the cats out of my house and gave them to him, which he put into a pet carrier. So these allegations against me, I find hard to believe.
Okay. So your contention is that the animals weren't as badly treated as they say they were?
On my part, yes, sir.
Okay.
And cats that they removed from my house on Friday, I still don't know the disposition of the animals, whether or not he's done anything for them or what. I can't get it. I left a message for him. He has not contacted me back. He refuses, apparently, because there has been no rapport to me about the cats or their condition and how they are. Plus, I tried to go and get supposedly the 4 cats that I'm allowed to have, but I still have not heard anything about that. Also, on the date that they removed those cats, I was supposed to be issued a subpoena, I guess, for a court date on the 6th of March. It was supposed to be filled out by a prosecuting attorney. I still have not received that letter, which was supposed to be given to me on the date that they removed the cats.
Well, I'm not aware of any letter that you're supposed to receive, sir. I mean, I don't have any idea.
There was supposed to be a prosecuting attorney to fill it out, and it was supposed to be served to me for the removal of the cats. And I'm supposed to go to a court hearing or meeting or whatever on the 6th of March. It's been 5 days now, and I still have not received that summons.
Okay.
So how can they do things that they're saying in accordance with the law, yet they're not following the law?
Well, I'm not sure of the circumstances, sir, why you have not been served that information. I'm not really aware of that information. It's something new to us, and it's really above and beyond our jurisdiction. If it has anything to do with the county, or if it has to do with the city, then that's out of our hands. If you understand what I'm saying. We have certain areas of jurisdiction. They have certain areas of jurisdiction. We don't cross those boundaries. We just don't do that. So you'd have to contact whoever's supposedly going to issue the subpoena to you or whatever it is. Contact them and find out from them what is going on with it. That's what I would recommend.
Well, Officer Thompson showed me a blank paper that said, you know, that I have to report on court, in court on the 6th of March.
Okay.
But that was verbal. I have no paperwork
Okay.
on that.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
There was a notice of legal hearing that said that I am hereby notified to lower the number of 4 cats by November 26th, 2022. They told me that at that date, they would come and remove the cats then. Now, why they didn't, I have no idea. I waited and, but they didn't do anything at that time, and now in February, they come and take them. Why did they wait 3 months to comply with their order?
I don't know. I don't know. You can ask, we can ask Officer Megan. She can probably, Officer Wallace, she can probably elaborate on that more than I can.
But I have cleaned the house up. There was a litter box, 2 litter boxes in the house. When they also came in and took the cats, they destroyed the porch, they destroyed that was hanging on the wall in my house. Well, they had all these people trying to protect the cats.
Right.
They allowed them to come into the house. There was only 6 of them in the house at the time. They had been operated on and by the feral cat coalition. So I was nursing them from the operation.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Commissioner, I'm Officer Wallace with the city of Kirby. So to answer some of Mr. Lawrence's questions and y'all's questions, I'll explain to y'all what happened. So according to y'all's last dangerous structure, he had until the 21st to remove the cats. And then on the 22nd, we would come in and remove the cats. We couldn't come in on the 22nd because the vet wasn't available until Friday, February 24th. The vet was not on his location, she was at our shelter. So as we filled the van with cats, we took them to the shelter for her, first off, for the calming situation of the cats, because it was hectic inside the house trying to remove, in the patio to remove the cats. So she looked at them, did a quick assessment on Friday, and then came back Sunday and did a full assessment of each and every single one of the cats. We did remove 40 cats. Well, we removed 38. 2 were left behind. Mr. Lawrence did bring them to the PD, and we took them in. So the hearing that he's talking about, so we had to get, he wouldn't allow us in, so we had to get a warrant. So with the warrant, when we get that signed by our municipal judge, we have to have a property hearing. And so he has 10 days, so it's by March 6th for the property hearing. With the property hearing, you have to have a prosecutor. We do not have the prosecutor as the day that that order was signed, the warrant, on Thursday, February 23rd. We have not had a city council meeting to hire an attorney. So that is why there was no date affixed to the return for him of what the court date was. So I explained to him, the prosecuting office, our city's prosecutor, will send him a letter for when his court date is. So that's that portion. We removed 38 cats, 12 from inside his home, and the rest were from the patio. So prior to this, the 10 cats that we took previously in November, and the reason why it had to happen in February is because it had to go through building and standards. We don't have a meeting in December. We had a meeting in January. Y'all made y'all's order. That's why we're there in February. But in that November date, he was told to remove all of the animals. He did not. So we came in and we removed every single one of them. Y'all did say that he could keep 4, but when we had to execute a warrant to get inside his home on February 24th, we were ordered to remove all cats. So at his property hearing that we're gonna have with our city judge, it will be determined by that this house, pending what the vet has to say. She will be at that meeting. So, speaking with Mike, and Mike hasn't been there this week because he is off Monday and Tuesday and comes back on Wednesday. So that is why no phone call has been made to Mr. Lawrence, because there's only a tech at the shelter who only cleans the shelter, and that's it. She doesn't answer calls, nothing. The shelter is shut down on Monday and Tuesdays. So, February 21st, 2023, in y'all's order, that all cats before had to remove from the location or a $50 civil penalty was going to be enforced. We came in on February 24th. I excluded 4 cats that y'all said he was going to be able to keep. So, but with that 50, there was 3 days. So that's $150 in civil penalties according to y'all's order that y'all signed on January 31st, 2023. In y'all's order, y'all also said that he was gonna have to pay a surrender fee for each cat. I did that for 36 cats. We took 40. I removed the 4 that he is allowed to keep per y'all's order, not the municipal judge of the warrant. So for the surrender fee is $125. For 36 cats at $125 a piece, that is $4,500 in surrender fees of these cats. The vet cost for all of the 40 cats that were looked at is $1,200 for the vet cost. I do not have the breakdown. As I said, Mr. Creo, Officer Creo, is off on Monday and Tuesday. So I was by phone with him today, asking what are the vet records and what is the total price, because we can revisit all of the paperwork, since this is so quick coming from Friday to today, and bring in all the documentation so you can see about the cats. Now, I believe, just talking to Officer Carrillo, that the cats are in healthy shape. Now, some have giardia, some have a little bit of upper respiratory infection, but they smell of fecal matter and urine on their coats, and it shows signs of flea activity on the coats. And that is also with the cats that we took in October, they showed the exact same things. 3 of them out of the 7 showed that. 3 cats out of the 7. We do have a bottle baby right now that Mr. Creo is having to, Officer Creo, that is having to feed every 2 hours. So that is where we're at with Mr. Lawrence's house. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, so, it's gonna be 3 days of penalty of the $50, right?
Yes.
And then it's gonna be $4,000 for the surrender of the cats,
4,500
4,500, and then it's another 1,200
for the vet cost.
for the vet, so he's looking at almost at what? Total cost?
4, 5, 5,750.
$5,750.
58, something like that. And he also has citations, so I did remove his citation for the legal dumping of the kitty litter.
Right.
On this last court date, he was late, so he was not allowed into court, but it does say until 5 PM. So I can see why he wasn't there at 1 PM, so I explained to him on this next court date, you need to be here at 1 PM for the March 14th. So I can see why he wasn't there.
Right.
I did remove the illegal dumping citation because he did prove and had a, verified company come and clean that. TCEQ and our engineering firm also agreed that that case is closed. So that is done. But he does have other citations issued by other officers. I cannot remove those because I'm not the issuing officer. I explained to him that he would have to come to court and address the court with that situation and those officers.
Okay. Okey dokey. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I'm a little confused. He has no cats on the property.
He has no cats on the property right now because since we asked if we could come in for your order, he said no. So
And you have to
I
go
had a warrant to enter his home in case he said no. So we ended up having to execute that warrant, which said all cats will be removed. Now, I'm not saying that he will not get 4 of them back, but there has to be a property hearing now with our municipal judge, since we had to execute that warrant. We have to have the property hearing. And we do have 2 of his carriers that need to be returned.
Should he not recover any of the animals that were taken? Can he have 4 other animals in the future per our?
I cannot make that decision. That is going to be the judge's decision at this point.
Okay.
Okay, I will say when we went into the house, it smelled of urine and feces. It's very pungent. I won't say what else it had in there, but the urine and feces was very, very pungent. And to the damages, the back patio, there was roughly 30 cats back there. They were going crazy. They were all over the place. We're trying to use catch poles. We cannot just grab a cat. We had to use catch poles. We had to cut the tarps off of his motorcycle because the cats were underneath the tarps. The tarps were covered in urine and feces. They were hard to lift, but they were tied down. So we cut the strings and just removed the tarps onto the side and had to pull out cats that were all hiding in that area. He has a bunch of tarps in the enclosed all the way around. We had to cut the tops of those because cats were inside the tarps, and we had to remove the tarps so we could get to the cats because there's other items that were there. We had to move items around inside the house. The cats were inside of his couch. So as the cats are coming out of inside of his couch, you know, we have catch poles. There's a couple of us in there because one person's blocking this area, the other ones are trying to get the cats so they will not remove from the room. You know, some cats went down the hall, so we had to be over there. We had to flip his couch over and fish cats out of like the big uppy arm pieces of his couch to get them out. We still missed two. But as I said, he didn't have to bring them over to us. He did,
Mhm.
you know, and I commend him for that because we wouldn't have known.
I have a question I would like to bring up here. I have a lot of concerns about the necessity of remedial cleaning. We're still talking about a very toxic situation for the neighbors, for the homeowner. And I'm
Well, in our order of action, there was nothing listed in there about the remedial cleaning of the house
Yes, there is.
that I can remember.
Commissioner Aldrich and Chairperson Major, y'all did put that a licensed contractor had to come in and clean the house
Okay,
in the January 31st, 2023
okay.
order.
So we, in terms of being the commission and the city and the neighbors are covered with that, we have made that determination.
Yes, y'all made the determination in the last order. I do not have an order for him today. We're going to continue off the last one, only because we have a property hearing coming up. So I suggest that we don't make an order and see what the municipal judge decides. And when we revisit this in March, I will have more information from that hearing to be able to present to y'all. Because I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, my only concern is the amount of money that's piled up to the point, you know, because I understand that a lot of the people in Kirby live on fixed incomes and they're have a very, very hard fight. And I just don't want to see a disaster happen.
Well, I will say, you know, this is gonna come up in this board meeting. The exact same numbers are going to go to the court as well, to our
Right.
municipal judge.
Right.
And in past hearings of animal hoarding, you know, you got the city of Kirby, we accrue costs to house
No, I
all of these
understand that.
animals and feed
No, I understand that. I mean, it's a staggering amount because of the staggering amount of animals.
them. Exactly.
You know, if it had been 3 or 4 cats or 5 cats, it's one thing, but when you're talking about 40 animals at $125 a pop, that's $5,000.
And when we took the first 10, we waived those fees.
Right.
As good faith that the cats were gonna be removed. We did not
Okay.
have him pay anything for those,
Right.
not even vet costs. And according to our vet and Officer Frio, each one of those cats cost us $300 to vet. And the city improved that, plus the surrender fees.
Right. Okay. Any other questions?
Do you want to speak? Do you have any questions for Officer Frio?
No,
with the animal
not this
services?
time. So that winds up number subsection A.
I think we need to make a motion, though, to table this until after the court case and then review it after.
Why do we need to make a motion to table?
Well, I'm sort of asking, do we need to, or?
Oh, we can, if you want to, we can make a motion to table it till next time.
We have somebody in the audience that'd like to speak.
She already talked once. You want to speak again, ma'am?
But she spoke on this item, so I think she's allowed to, unless, do we have to constrain it? Okay, I think she,
It's
as
an
much as
open
she
hearing.
wants.
She's already been up there once. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Cats were climbing. They tore up all the tarps because they were climbing over it and then going down it. And I watched that over and over and over, and I've kept my mouth shut. I haven't said a word. Well, now I am. And I'm fed up living next door to this. You can't breathe and you can't be outside. I have 3 dogs. It's hard on my dogs. And this, he doesn't have anything. Everything he had, he hid. His mother's truck, everything else.
Okay, now we're getting out of the realm of the conversation, ma'am.
But what I don't want is letting them sit there and that house starts stinking again, and then me have to argue with someone to get them to come in.
Well, as according to the rules the order of action that we put down, ma'am, there is a standing order for them to have a professional cleaning service come in there and take care of the house. And we will have to see what's going to happen about that. You know, we just have to give the wheels of law the process to work this thing. It's not an instantaneous overnight deal. Okay.
Sir, I've been hearing this since.
Well, I understand. And we're trying to do as much as we can, as fast as we can, but we have rules.
I know, and I know it takes time.
Yes, ma'am.
But you have to understand.
No, I understand your
smell
frustration.
Just penetrating into your home.
Right. I understand your frustration. No,
And 50 cats we sure didn't deserve.
right. Okay, thank you.
If I can make a suggestion, like the order of action, if I could suggest, we keep it as it was last time. We make no action tonight, for, this house.
Other than we're going.
I mean, is there some way that amongst us, right here on the borders, the commission, is there anything that you think of that needs to be changed in the order of action that was written last time?
No, but I do think we need to leave it open that we're going to revisit this in the March
Yes,
meeting,
because-
and if they have not done what they need to do and have a cleaning company come in and clean up the property, inside, outside. If that's not done, then we take further action in March.
Yes, ma'am, we will
Right.
do that. That's not
And
a
then we also
problem.
need to wait for the judge to see what he decides on.
See what the,
Yeah.
and then, my understanding is we don't have to serve any more notice. We don't have to put it in the newspaper. We've done what we need to do to facilitate this. And now it's all in his ball court, whether or not he's going to have further penalties.
It will still be printed in the newspaper because it's a hearing.
Right.
But it would stay the same, minus we remove, the number of animals, because we have the animals, so that's no longer an issue at the house. Some things will change,
As long as he doesn't bring more animals back onto the property.
depending on what the judge says he could bring forward.
When you wrote that order of action the first time, did you put a time frame on there to have the house clean?
No,
No.
maybe if y'all wanted to do something, maybe for the next order, I would say we can start a timeline. Because this was just one aspect, there's some structural maintenance to do to the house, so when we meet in March, because I have to give him those notices. I've talked to him verbally about it, but I haven't sent him notices for the structural maintenance.
Right.
So that's what we're gonna work on next, which will go with cleaning of the house and the structural stuff, so that's gonna come for the March meeting. This was the priority one, and then we'll do the
Right.
secondary one.
All right, okay. Then I guess we need to make a motion about tabling this conversation until the March, when's the March meeting? March 28th?
March repeats February.
Yeah, it does.
March.
March 28th, it repeats February. That's what she's saying. It's the same month.
Okay, so that we would table it until the March 28th meeting. at what time that will be brought up again before the commission again for reevaluation. Do I hear a motion?
Chairperson, I make a motion, we table this until the next meeting, March 28th.
And I second it.
Okay. Been moved and seconded. Patty, can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Blended,
Aye.
Commissioner Kosipa,
Aye.
Commissioner Aldra,
Aye.
Commissioner Potter. Aye. Chairperson Major.
Aye. Well, that concludes subsection A. Let's move on to subsection B. The public hearing to determine whether Gilray, Gary L., and Elizabeth K., the owner of the property located at 3802 Autumn Lane, Kirby, Bear County, Texas, CB 401-8A, Block 24, Lot 6, is in compliance with the standards set out in the city's adopted code of ordinances, IPMC 302.1, 308.1. Rubbish debris throughout property, IPMC 604.3. Electrical system hazards, IPMC 703.2. No smoke alarm, IPMC 309.1. Infestation of insects and rodents, IPMC 305.3. Interior surface needing repair, IPMC 702.2. Lack of means of egress, IPMC 302.7. Accessory structures, broken door and window, IPMC 304.4, 304.13, 304.7. Deteriorated structural members, door frames, roof, 304.2. Lack of weatherproofing, IPMC 302.1. Animal waste, IPMC 702.4. Blocked emergency egress, IPMC 305.6. Missing hardware door, IPMC 305.1. Unsanitary flooring, IPMC 305.3. Damaged sheetrock paint, mold, IPMC 304.13.1. Broken windows, IPMC 404.5.1, 402.1, 404.3. Habitable sleeping quarters, IPMC 404.7. Unsanitary food preparation area, IPMC 403.4. 403.5. Exhaust system, NEC 334.15. Exposed electrical, KMC 155.06. Exposed insulation, TPC 481.125. Drug paraphernalia, KMC 91.021. Animal limits. And that is all. And I assume that there's nobody here to speak on behalf of that property.
She is not here.
She is not here. But we do have somebody to talk to.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, that's better than some of them.
Okay.
So what's the status, Megan?
So yesterday, we didn't have to execute a warrant. They did it by y'all's order, so we did not have to produce a warrant.
All right. Well, that's good.
Right, so that was good. So yesterday, what we did is we went with your order, and the new order in front of y'all is an order for tonight for this house, 3802 Autumn. So what happened yesterday is we went in, with y'all's order that, and this was late, I can't remember the correct date that we were supposed to do it. We weren't able to do it at that date, so, because it had to be so many days, I don't remember what y'all said, but so many days, and so it had to be yesterday, was the soonest that we could do it, per the order last time. Because we decided to do, working days, no holidays, and no weekends. So that's why it took so long. But with this house, they did put smoke alarms in it. So they did comply with that. They did patch the hole in the sheetrock, one portion of the sheetrock in the hallway. They did fix the masonry on one of the support beams of the carport, but they didn't do the other one. Yesterday, they did sign a contingency agreement to sell the house to Kingco investors. which the sale date, the final date will be March 27th, 2023. So next month on the 27th, so the day before our meeting, that house will be sold. We did end up boarding the house yesterday. We did tell them, we went with what our construction hours are for repairs to the home or now removing their belongings from the home, pending sale. So they are allowed to be there for our ordinance for construction hours, like if you have got a permit or anything like that, is Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
That's the people that own the house.
Yes.
Okay.
So everybody has been removed from the home, that was living there prior. Three of them have gone, 4 of them have gone somewhere else. They all have gone somewhere else, but the 2 that were meant to be there, that were the family members that had interest in that estate, are now the family members. So we didn't end up having to place them anywhere. They are with other family members, along with the 6 dogs. We didn't have to take any of their dogs yesterday. So this is a rough estimate of the total, which a lien will be placed on this house, okay? But the rough estimate of the total for the house. So for the first hour, we had 2 guys boarding the house. The second hour, there was 3 guys. The third hour, there was 6 guys. The fourth hour, there was 6 guys. Took 4 hours to board the house. All those man hours at $15 an hour, which is the starting rate for public works, is what we based it on. For 4 hours, for these, the breakdown of these times is $255 in just hours. In the materials, now this is the rough estimate of materials, so this could change because we have to return items. Okay, so it took approximately 15 boards to board the house, $153. 2 boxes of, I'm gonna say type A screws was $19.94. 1 box of nails was $6.27, and I'm gonna say 1 box of type B screws was $7.98, equaling $187.19. The $225 of labor plus the materials of $187.19 equals $442.19. We added administrative fee to that for when we file of $150, which make a grand total of $592.19. Now, this could change for materials. The hours will not change, but materials might change. I talked to the public works director, Mr. Craig Salazar. They're going to return what materials we didn't use tomorrow to the Home Depot. So this is just a rough estimate that me and him went over, but I will get a better one for our next meeting, and you'll have a breakdown and a graph inside of your books. A lot of the items, so the roof is still in disrepair, the mold is still there, everything else that was happening inside the house is still there. But they did make progress, a little bit of progress. They were, trying on a limited budget, trying to do what repairs that they could. Just a lot of these repairs needed to be done with a contractor that wasn't done, and it further caused damage to their house, like the roof. Someone fell through the roof. And now there's a hole in the roof. So, but as I said, I did talk to his name is Jose with Kinco Investors I do have on just a text message. I haven't gotten an email from him, but I do have text message pictures of the contract. I just haven't gotten an email to where I can print it off to where y'all will be able to read it. You can't really see it on it, but you can kind of see things.
But he's committed to buying the house.
He's committed to buying it, and it'll be March 27th, 2023 will be the closing and final date.
Does that mean they're under contract or it's a
We're
verbal?
under contract. There is a contract with both signatures, and it's 30-day contingent to being sold. So March 27th, that's when money will transfer hands, and I do believe that he's gonna give them a few days if they have not gotten all of their belongings that they choose, because it's being sold as is. So what's left is left, what they take, they take. You know, I explained to the homeowner now, you know, these are some of your options that you can do, try to help her in this process. So that's where we're sitting at now. But as I said, they can only be there Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They cannot be there on the weekends. We do have I guess you could call it a BOLO. It's just pretty much an email where the officers are doing patrol buys and watching the area to make sure nobody's in the house. Because again, there is water at the home now, but there's no electricity.
Right.
And the entire home is boarded, including the shed, except for one door in, which is the front door.
And it's
Just to
secured,
maintain
right?
that. It is.
Okay.
Well, they didn't have a key to the door, so they were supposed to buy a padlock on them and the homeowner and padlock. And we did get one call already last night. This happened yesterday we got there 11:45. I left there about 4:45. And after 7 p.m., there was a call for service generated, so when someone calls dispatch for a call to service. And there was still a female, was not the homeowner, that was on location after 7 p.m. And kind of refused to leave, but then ended up leaving, from what I got. So again, so in this order that I made for this one today, so if you just want to go, I'm going to go from the back. So the second page from the back, the commission further finds that. So this is pretty much what I've explained to you just now. The premise at 30-2 autumn may remain vacated with the issuance of this order. The property will remain boarded until the life and safety hazards have been rectified. The owner will be permitted to do work on the residence by a licensed contractor with appropriate permits, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. No work shall be done on the weekend. The owner is allowed to remove property from the residence Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., pending the sale of the residence. All animals left on location will be considered abandoned and placed in the care of the Kirby Animal Services. But as it says, they removed the animals yesterday.
Came together.
So
very
this is the
quickly.
order of action that you're wanting us to
Yes.
do, right? This Commissioner Fines?
Yes,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
How come is it that we're doing it this way and not doing it, discussing it as a group and then writing the order of action?
I mean, you don't have to take my order of action.
No, I understand that.
I was just trying to make it easier for y'all, and y'all could play off of this. And the reason I'm saying that is, you know, Chairperson Nature, you and Commissioner Aldrich and me have been on this commission for years, and I kind of know how y'all think. And so I just try to make it a little bit easier, especially because we have to listen to this meeting, and we have to type out, poor Patty and me, have to type out what you say verbatim.
Well, I
So we're
understand
trying
that,
to
but
make
see,
it
that is the idea of this commission, is to write and order these orders of action, not to have them being brought to us and given to us. I understand what you're trying to do, and I appreciate that, and I like that. You know, I think it's something we need to work together on to come up with a plan on this. Okay?
But I can't talk to you outside of this hearing, so.
Well, I understand.
I brought you a baseline, and then if y'all wanna change it, which we changed the ones last meeting, so I'm fine with it. It's
Yeah.
just, it's a baseline to start on, because this is what we know can be done, because we've talked to the city attorneys over these.
What happened to the city attorney? You said something about hiring a new city attorney. We already lost the one we hired?
No,
So we still have the same one that came to the meeting and met us?
yes.
Okay.
But there's a different scope.
We emailed him today and emailed him this order to make sure by law we were not outstepping of what we could do. And he said that this order is fine, the way that it is. Because we were gonna do a criminal trespass, but we started thinking about it and we decided to remove that.
Well, the only thing that I would like to see entered into this somewhere is a reference to the monies that have been spent, of them being collected by a certain time, date, or whatever. We can come up with some idea so that we don't end up getting stuck holding the poke again.
Well, that's what I wanted to put on the next order, because I don't have that price, because most of those materials are being returned tomorrow. So that's
Right.
why I gave a rough estimate.
Right,
instead of
well, we
this
can write it though as money spent. We don't have to have an exact amount. Just money spent and the actual of doing the order of action. We could list it at that.
I mean, you can put it in this order, or we can put it in the next order.
Well, I would like to put it, because the problem we're gonna run into is that I can see is that they're gonna have the sale of this house, and all this money that's pending that owed and everything is gonna get hung up in the sale of this house. And the people that buy this house legally are accepting the responsibilities of what is wrong with this house.
Well, they're gonna have to pay the lien when the house sells.
Well, I understand that. They're gonna have to pay the lien, they're gonna have to spend all the money. Any monies that those people owe, then they're just gonna walk away from it, what's gonna happen.
And
But if
that's,
it's a lien, it doesn't mean that, so Jose, who's buying the house with
Right.
Kinko,
Mhm.
knows there's gonna be a lien. I told him
Okay.
yesterday. He knows there's gonna be a lien on the house. So when you buy a house, you do research on it, right? You hire a company to do it. It's gonna show the lien.
Right,
So when that house is being bought, he's gonna have to pay that lien, regardless.
Megan, in this short time period, there's a good chance it is not going to show up downtown.
This house is not gonna show up downtown. This house is being
The
sold.
lien will probably not be filed and be downtown.
No, the lien is gonna be filed on Friday. We have to get the money amount. This, are you talking about this order? Or are you talking about the money that we spent?
The money we spent, and that is considered the monetary portion of the lien, is not going to be recorded and public knowledge. I've never seen anything when I
Yes, it
was
is.
in real
It's
estate.
gonna be recorded in public knowledge, all liens are.
By the 27th.
Yes, it's gonna be done on Friday. It's gonna be recorded downtown at the appraisal district. And
the lien is gonna be recorded for all the monies that are owed right there.
Yes, sir.
Right, but I'm going to presume that this investor is smart enough to have title insurance. That may not be showing by the time of the 27th, 28th. You don't have time enough to do that. It is not going to, it will be legally at appraisal district, but it is not going to be within the public record.
Well, that's an issue for a lawyer. That's something that we can't decide or figure
Well,
out.
but
I'm
on
gonna
your
let you know
track,
now,
if we put
she's
it,
not gonna pay this. She doesn't have the money.
Right, I understand that.
So the new owner is gonna end up paying this with the lien.
okay,
Right.
well, this is why I'm tending to go with what Jack is saying,
Well, if they're not gonna
is
be
that
able
we
to
put
collect
it
it.
within this
Right.
paperwork so that this establishes that the new owner will be responsible.
It
Oh, no,
already
that's the
says it
law.
in the order.
It's the
order,
law.
If you read the entire order, it already says that they have to pay all liens off on this house, and this order is transferred to the new property owner. You don't have to put that in the lien.
Okay,
Or in the other half of the body, because it's already there. It's already. And if he doesn't do a proper title search, that's his fault. He's gonna get letters from the city that he has to pay it.
okay.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Okay. Well, do we want to leave the order of action as it is, or do we want to include something in there about I don't think there's any need to, having listened to what Megan said, because there's a lien going to be filed against it. And if the chances of collecting, I can know from past experience, is probably going to be real hard.
And also, the buyer does cover for them.
Okay, well, let's, as it is, you want to, give me a motion to approve the order of action as written?
Make the motion that we approve the order of action as written.
Second?
Me.
Roll call.
Person on the end.
Commissioner Potter,
Aye.
Commissioner Bendick,
Aye.
Commissioner Casilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Albrecht,
Aye.
Chairperson Major.
Aye.
Are you through with this now, Ms. Megan?
Meeting adjourned.
What a birthday present. Today's my birthday. Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday.
Nothing, 29th.